Well, everybody, thank you guys for joining me. This is a really special moment because it's the first opportunity to really bring to life all of this work that we've been doing up until this point, and now we get to pick. We've planted the seed, and now it's time to go and harvest the fruit. And with this special harvest, we've got three special people that really stood out. Four that started, but three of them really, really stood out and have the qualities. And so I believe it will change the course of aviation and human understanding of aeronautics and our relationship to the perception of reality. So without further ado, I want to introduce everybody that's here. And then when I introduce you, will you please just say a little bit about yourself, just so that for everyone else at home that may be watching this will be able to know what I know about you guys. I'm gonna start with Chris Seeley at the top. You know,
Well, my background, I've been working with Terrence now, I guess going on almost 2 years on this project. My background is QA/QC, supervisor and manager on mega projects. So I come from a background of engineering and basically multidiscipline inspection services and metallurgy and industrial design. So kind of a jack of all, master of none.
he's Grizzly Adams and Merlin put together. He's my chief science officer, my chief technological officer. He has to be part Vulcan because of his logic and his ability to put stuff together. And I'm so thankful to have him. And now we've got James Pellegrini. Now James is our chief media officer. Who has worked to put the games together, put the Lynchpin competition together, and have managed all of the players along this way until they get to this point. But go ahead, speak about yourself, James.
Hi, James, and I am a photographer, videographer, musician, and tinkerer and seeker. So, you know, um, I was just sort of dropped in here. At the time, seemed like chance, but as the months have crept by, I have, you know, come to realize that I'm just right where I'm supposed to be. So,
But Vince, go please explain who you are. And I'm just so thankful that you're joining us right now
Oh,
because
no
me and him
worries.
really get to talk. And he is next to Chris, he's one of the smartest people I've ever met. So that's why I really wanted him to be on
I
this.
don't, I don't know about that, but yeah, it was about 3.5 years ago that my name is Vincent Fitzgerald. I work in aerospace right now, part of the 737, 777 MAX program from the metallurgical side of things. I seem to be on permanent loan to SpaceX and Blue Origin on the propulsion team for those guys. But yeah, Terrence and I think it was Providence. We sat next to one another. I was talking about hexagonal shapes and frequencies, lightness of titaniums, and mixing the metallurgy up, and diffusion bonding processes. And then he put this structure in front of me, and I thought, wow, this is interesting, because I really didn't know what to do with it at first, because my mind started going 1,000 different ways of 1,000 different applications that's possible to use it for. I've taken it all over the world with me. I travel everywhere. But my background is, I'm Irish Australian. I love engineering, sciences, metallurgy, play music with some really cool cats out there too. So, and I don't get to talk to Terrence very often, but when we do, we usually talking each other off a ledge, or we just,
Down, downloading.
just downloading information and stuff like that. It's been an interesting relationship for sure. But I would, of all the work that you guys have put into it and all the stuff that I've seen, because he keeps me in the loop from the outside, sharing information with. It's amazing stuff. It truly is, and I think all the naysayers that I've introduced this to over the last 3 or 4 years are gonna eventually have to tip their hat at some point and say, "Dang, the math supports it. Everything's there. The math is there. The It's the application. What do we want to do with it, and to have this competition. And then Terrence yesterday, when I was talking to the very last moment there, said, would you want to come on and meet the panel? I said, heck yeah. So I told SpaceX today, I got to go. Figure it out. Bye. So here I am. So it was good meeting you all.
Thank you so much.
Likewise.
One of the things he was saying was 1,000 different applications of where we could go, the potential. Like I started talking, the way that you and I speak about this stuff, Chris, is how me and Vince, talked about this stuff. He reached out to his mother, who has tenure at Cambridge, to address and bring this stuff. He looked at the stuff that I did with Oxford. And, the funny thing, one of the places where I got the original concept of a freeness in motion was in the plane with Lieutenant Colonel Brett Vance. I would love to introduce you, but go tell everybody about you just so we know.
Such a cool group. I think I'm last, so I get to, have a little bit of fun here at the very end. So
there you go.
What an interesting group of people. So it's really neat to be associated with all you guys. How fun is this? So I graduated from the Air Force Academy a long time ago, and then pretty much went into pointy jets right after that. So I was an instructor in that T-38. I've been flying that for a long, long time. Went into fighters, flew the A-10, and after I'd done those three things, I went to the test pilot school at Edwards Air Force Base out here in California. After the graduation of that, went into the F-16 Combined Test Force, and then got into the thing that ended up having me meet Terrence. And that was being an instructor at that same Air Force Test Pilot School. So I was an instructor there, and got a call one day from like the deputy commandant of the school or something like that. Not real sure how that happened, but they said, hey, public affairs is having somebody come up here from Hollywood and we'd like you to fly with them. I said, okay, fine. And then they said, who was it? Terrence Howard. Oh, cool. So it turned out to be a formation ride. So we had two T-38s right there side by side. And as he was saying, we were going pretty fast, but it was actually less than 1,000 feet. I think we're pretty much 500 knots and 500 feet in the canyons in the Sierra Nevadas, if you're familiar with all that fun location. And he's right, we kind of went upside down and pulled down the face of the mountains. It was about a 4,000-foot drop from kind of up there near top of the mountains near Mount Whitney to go all the way down into the desert floor. So that's about a 4,000-foot drop in just a couple of miles. Because when we finished that part, we were on the way back to the base. And I said, how about we do, something else? And I was, kind of going to demonstrate something. He said, no, let's just go back. And I went, oh, okay, I got it. Let's just go back. So we did.
I had about 5 pounds of throw up in the bag in my little pocket in my flight suit.
Yeah.
So, but they told me that everybody throws up on that first 8 flights.
And we were not being gentle, so I can certainly understand that. It was that was a ton of fun. So the T-38 is capable of about 7 Gs, and I'd say on that one we got pretty close a couple of times to 7. So as far as feeling Gs and as far as feeling nearly weightless, yeah, you could do that in a fighter pretty easily. So you probably felt that whole gamut. And then with this TV show that Terrence mentioned at the very beginning, Jet Jockeys, my wife got a hold of him a few months ago, and we sent him some pictures of the events that we had at Edwards Air Force Base. And that's how we kind of hooked up again. And he introduced me to Lynchpin, and with all the great capabilities of this particular shape and the ideas behind it, I was racing pretty much immediately as soon as he showed me all the toys there in that big plastic box that you showed me. Remember that?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking from little bitty tiny things all the way to things that can carry a person. So there's a lot of scaling that can be done on this with a lot of capabilities. So I'm really excited to see what people are going to do with it. I've seen a couple of the videos of the contestants, and totally ready to talk about this with you guys. So thanks for me on board.
Yeah, thank you for that. So